Good morning. I'm meteorologist Drew McCombs with your Saturday morning weather briefing for August the 23rd, 2025. What we're watching as we move through this weekend, it's going to be still warm today for sure. We're going to have some scattered thunderstorms around across, especially kind of the southern part of the state, but also possible in the northern part of the states as well. A little bit better chance of some coverage in the northern and central part of the state for today. Cold front passes over the course of the day tomorrow. And then behind that, we're going to have some drier air, a little bit of a fall preview, a beautiful week ahead overall. Going to be feeling drier out there, a little bit cooler, some fairly cool mornings. And so that's going to be super nice. So we'll take a quick SkyCam tour and looking at Florence right now. We're starting off with the temperature at 72 degrees. Some high clouds there in the distance. But again, kind of a beautiful morning out there. Dew points in the upper 60s. And as we continue to move around the state here, we'll move on to Alabaster. So there is some patchy fog, actually some fairly dense fog in some spots. Not everywhere. Obviously, you saw Florence didn't have any, but Alabaster right there, temperature and dew point both at 73 degrees. So when you get that, you get fog. And so you see some pretty thick fog in Alabaster right now. And as we expect, though, that will not last too much longer. There's no dense fog advisories out or anything like that. Dozier, if you go down further towards the south, same kind of thing. We're at 73 degrees, over 72 degrees with a temperature and dew point with plenty of fog around Dozier as well. But again, not every place has got fog. We got Dauphin Island looking out towards the Gulf, and it's looking, or actually not looking back towards not the Gulf. We're looking towards the north there, towards the causeway, and you can see that it's 81 degrees and a beautiful start this morning on Dauphin Island. All right, so our current alerts out there right now, nothing across the state of Alabama. If you look off towards the east, we do have a flood watch there that is in a good portion of the southeastern part of Georgia and a little bit of South Carolina for some enhanced chance of some flooding and some heavier rain there. There's a little bit of a wedge front moving in from the east, and also there's a little bit of a kind of an upper level low there that is also helping to enhance coverage there. But again, we don't expect that type of trouble as much here, although there could be some heavy thunderstorms today for sure. No, don't get me wrong, and could have a few flood advisories like we've seen the last few days. Taking a look at overall view of the southeast. Again, just a few showers in the southeastern corner of Alabama at this point. Quite a bit of thunderstorm activity in the Gulf. None of it moving onshore right now, but there is quite a bit of that in the Gulf at this point. And you see there's also some activity there between Atlanta and Macon and Georgia and some stuff, and eventually some storms off the coast of the Carolinas and off Georgia and east coast of Florida, but looking quiet as we move more towards the northwest. And as we take a look at the temperatures across the state, so we're in the 70s across most of the state, low to mid 70s. You see that it looks like the cool spot there is Hamilton at 69 degrees, but it's 72 in Clanton and 74 in Montgomery. And as far as the dew points, we saw a little bit of a lowering of dew points, especially in the northwestern part of the state yesterday. And you can see a little bit of that here as well, 67 in Hamilton, 68 in Florence. But most of the state still fairly humid at this point with dew points in the 70s. Again, that's one of the big things that we will see changing as we move past tomorrow. Now, take a look at our Futurecast. Again, starting off with some cloud cover in some spots across the state. And then as we advance through time here, this is 3 p.m. this afternoon. And again, there's going to be plenty of places that stay dry. There's going to be a smattering of some showers and thunderstorms in the north central part of the state. Could see even maybe a few more than what we're seeing here on the model. Again, heavier rain coverage looks more likely towards the southeast. And again, you see all that more widespread rain and thunderstorms over in Georgia and South Carolina where that flood watch is in effect. As we move through the rest of the evening, again, whatever is around should still be lingering at probably around 7 o'clock tonight, but there eventually will fizzle as we get further on into the evening. Could see a few showers and thunderstorms later tonight, though, in northeast Alabama, kind of along this wedge front that's going to be trying to kind of edge into the eastern side of the state here. Now, as we get into Sunday afternoon, this is when the front begins to move in, and so you'll see kind of a linear band of some showers and thunderstorms along this, but models are not really showing huge amounts of rain or anything. It's looking fairly sparse along the front here as it moves in. So again, we expect scattered showers and thunderstorms as the front moves through, but may not be super heavy downpours and stuff like we've seen in some of the previous days. And as we get through Sunday, looks like most of the showers start to move into the area of Greenville, Montgomery, Auburn, along Interstate 65 and 85 there before moving further to the southeast as we get into Monday morning. And then things start to clear out as we get into Monday afternoon. And as that dry air, as that front moves all the way to the south and the dry air is in place, then we'll expect no rain chances really the first several days of next week. Interestingly, with what's happening today, just wanted to point out again, I could get some fairly breezy conditions later on tonight with this sort of wedge trying to move in from the east, getting some easterly flow here. So as we get into this evening, could see some wind gusts up to 15, 20 miles per hour, maybe a little bit more than that, especially in the eastern part of the state, places like Anniston, Alexander City, Auburn, Eufaula. So some of these could be associated with any sort of storms around, but it also looks like just the gradient winds will be sort of gusty and a little bit windier than you normally get on an evening in August for this evening. So that'll be something to watch, and that kind of spreads further to the west as we get later in the nighttime. So don't be surprised if it's a fairly breezy evening out there at nighttime across a good portion of the state. Okay, as we take a look more nationally here, so again, we got that flood watch out to our east. If you look out west, we've got heat advisories in place, parts of Nevada, also in California, Oregon, Washington. Got some air quality watches in different metros around the area, including the Dallas metro. And there are still a few of the coastal advisories as Aaron has kind of is pulling away, or the remnants of Aaron has pulled away, but you still have a few high surf advisories and things of that nature along the East Coast, but otherwise fairly quiet out there. So as we kind of move forward, again, just kind of taking a national look here, looking at the satellite and radar, look to the northwest there, that sort of linear band of clouds and some showers and a few storms. That is your cold front that will eventually be crossing through our state, and so that's what we're looking forward to there. Some monsoonal moisture across the southwest, a few showers there in Arizona, Nevada, and also into southwestern Utah. Got a few showers moving up across the Great Lakes, and again, like I said, quite a bit of thunderstorm activity across the Gulf this morning. Looking at a severe weather outlook for today, the only place is a marginal 1 out of 5 risk in mostly Colorado, Denver included, but also kind of the southeastern tip of Wyoming and southeastern Colorado. And then as we move into tomorrow, just similar area, maybe a little bit further to the east, marginal risk there in a similar area there, just mainly potential for some wind potential and hail with that as well. Excessive rainfall potential could get some heavy rain rates for today in similar areas out there in both northern New Mexico and then southern Colorado. And then as you see to our east, that yellow area there is the slight rainfall, excessive rainfall potential for a good portion of Georgia, South Carolina, and then also into Florida. And then again, the eastern and southeastern part of Alabama is in that marginal risk, which, like the last couple of days that we've talked about, just means that if you get a heavy storm over you, could create some temporary flooding, most likely, and nothing super significant. All right, we're taking a look at the tropics real quick. And so post-tropical cyclone Aaron, no longer a tropical system, is moving off to the northeast. And as you can see here, still a very large system, but not compact anymore because it's made the transition to a post-tropical cyclone. So again, this will eventually head over towards Europe, and I'm sure will create some windy conditions and some weather there, but it is out of our hair at this point, thankfully. Looking at the development chance over the next 7 days, watching a couple of places still like we have been. You've got the 90% chance there in the kind of western part of the Atlantic. And you can see this is the storm right here, which this very well could become a tropical storm. In fact, National Hurricane Center thinks it's fairly likely that this becomes a tropical storm this weekend. And if that's the case, it'll be Fernan. But good thing about it is it's forecast to kind of continue to move off to the north and northeast and not threaten land. Bermuda would be the exception to that. You can see Bermuda right here. But at least as far as the U.S. is concerned, we won't have to worry about that. The next system down here, the next invest, is a lot further to the south, to the east of the Lesser Antilles at this point. 20% chance of development over the next week. It's in unfavorable shear environment at this point. It will be moving this direction, though. It does appear that it's far enough south that it's going to likely just stay as a threat to the Caribbean and Central America and not be a threat to the Gulf at this point. And we'll take a look at that further in the next slide here. So this is the forecast moisture from the GFS American model. And you can, again, we'll highlight the two areas here. So you can see that the one that we expect could become Fernan will again move north and northeast and stay well away from at least the U.S. But then as you see here, we'll go ahead and show you this again. So this again is that next disturbance moving in that direction towards the west. And as we move into next week and kind of middle part of next week, it becomes more diffuse. And so just not really showing a lot of development with that system either. And so again, the idea here, thankfully, is that we don't expect any tropical trouble in our area anytime soon in the next week or 10 days. So that's always good this time of year to be pretty clear as far as we're concerned. Okay, so we've got our temperature anomaly here. Just wanted to talk about with the cold front coming through here. So that's going to be the big deal as we get into this coming week. Is that for most of the week, most of the state is going to be a good 5 or 10 degrees below normal, both during the afternoon and during the nighttime as well, and during the mornings. And so, again, you can see as we move through time here, just lots of blues on the board with this forecast temperature anomaly. And again, it's a time of year where it's always nice to see this, and kind of a false fall sort of situation here. We're for sure going to warm back up as we get past this next week and have some hot weather again. It'll feel like summer again, just like September normally does once we get to September. But it's, again, nice to have a little break for sure. And you can see this kind of illustrated with the total moisture as well. So again, we have some moisture in place to our east and southeast, but then there's all that blue right there. That is the atmospheric moisture getting content being a lot drier as that front moves through. Still got a little bit of moisture off to the west, and you see a little bit of a surge maybe kind of midweek before we get a reinforcing shot of cooler air with another kind of reinforcing front. So again, it's kind of a cool thing to look at here as far as the atmospheric moisture. And then just kind of taking a look at, we'll kind of move on here to the next. This is the GFS forecast here. Again, there comes the cold front moving through. We've got high pressure moving into the northern plains, a little low pressure trying to form along that stalled frontal boundary in Texas as we get into the middle part of the week. But as you can see here, all indications are that reinforcing high pressure as we get into the mid part of the week and dry front will help to continue to keep us mostly dry. Some of the, our Mobile, Baldwin counties would be the ones that have the best shot of maybe getting into some showers and thunderstorms at some point in the week because they'll be closer to that stalled boundary. But again, the vast majority of the state should stay dry. And this rainfall outlook through the next week shows that, again, the next day or two, we could get up to close to an inch in some spots of rain and some of those heavier showers. But, again, past what's happening the next couple of days, then it's going to be dry as we move on past that into next week. And you see that in our 7-day forecast. So, again, still going to be warm today. Highs in the upper 80s in North Alabama, 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. Still a chance of showers and thunderstorms as the front moves through on Sunday, and then look at next week. Monday through Friday, highs in the low to mid 80s, but a lot of times low 80s, maybe upper 70s in some spots. Lows down in the upper 50s a couple of nights there. And so that's going to be nice, refreshing time period for sure. And by Friday, maybe starting to see some rain chances sort of begin to creep back in. And then a similar story for South Alabama. A little bit warmer the next couple of days. Again, scattered showers and thunderstorms. But again, as we get into the week, it's still going to be warm, but not as warm as it can be. And the humidity level will be noticeably lower with those lows getting down into the 60s, even along the coast, which will be super nice. All right, well, that is your weather briefing for this Saturday morning. And we appreciate you being here. And we appreciate you watching the Alabama Weather Network. And we'll have more for you today. Thanks.